Welcome to another devlog on Mike Dolan Games. Still working on the Unreal Engine twin stick shooter. So here's some footage of what we got so far. We bumped up a lot of the enemies so that there's a lot of action. So the main thing that I worked on this week was the enemy AI, trying to get the shooter AI together. So this is what it kind of finally turned out looking like. But it gave me a lot of trouble. One of the things that kind of happened was just getting the AI to turn and kind of aim at the player in real time. So I had them finding a place to shoot the enemy, shoot the player. They'd find a random location near the player, and then they would basically turn and shoot, but the turning and shooting was a big issue. So I put together a bunch of different behavior trees, and eventually I kind of found one that worked after iterating through, but had to create a few new behavior tasks, getting the random location for the user, and then kind of going towards them. It's not as smart as the Chase AI. The Chase AI uses some of the perception stuff to like notice the player and things like that. I might upgrade the shooter AI to do that too. Right now they're kind of like the Terminator. They know where the player is at all times, so player can't use any type of like sneaking around to escape the shooting AI, which seems like it would be better if they could give me some different things I could do with levels in the future. I also changed a bunch of the colors for the enemies so I could tell which ones were supposed to behave a certain way, and that was kind of fun. So you'll see here the first iteration. We had enemies that were shooting, but they weren't turning, and also their when you blew them up, their guns would stay on the screen and also continue shooting. There was no way for them to turn off, so had to add a few of those things. See here, this is where I started adding the rotate to player. That did not work for a while, but I did come up with a solution for that. Again, I spent a lot of the week just kind of iterating on this. And there's also a custom task there for firing the weapon, and that was just a modification of the shooter AI, adding that functionality copied from the player. The player can shoot weapons, so I just kind of brought that abilities over to the enemy AI, and but only for the shooter ones, so it's an extension of that class. So I spent a lot of time debugging and trying to figure out why no one was rotating. You'll see it just got worse and worse, actually. I wrote my own behavior tree class, my own behavior tree task, and it was a complete failure. So, as you'll see, they're not turning at all. And pretty amazing. And then watch that guy, boom, and that guy just derps and spins around. So finally someone rotated, but it was absolutely not right. So the enemy rotation bug was super annoying, and it turned out that the behavior tree rotate to face behavior tree entry works just fine, and I didn't need to create like my own rotation script to make it work. The issue was just kind of with the how to set up the pawns. So if you look at my kind of original enemy, this is my chasing enemy, and in I think the actual base pawn stuff, it's all set up this way, so we're not using controller pitch, yaw, or roll for anything in here. I think that's the same on both, but in here, in the character movement, so I'm using the character movement. It's a little bit hacky, but it just made some of the movement stuff easier. So in the character movement, though, I have a some rotation settings here. So with my chase enemy, I have them being able to rotate at a speed of like 180 degrees. I think it's 180 degrees a second, but then it's using use controller desired rotation and orient rotation movement, and you'll see that if one of these is clicked, it overrides the other one. So probably need to even get rid of this one, but this one will override the use controller desired rotation. On my enemy shooting script, in order to get that rotate to BB entry, I had to get rid of the orient rotation movement and switch it to use controller desired rotation. And once I did that, it really worked. So that was the bug. So. So the other thing I worked on was setting up damage types for projectiles. Now that I had enemies that could shoot, we needed a way to damage the player, but I also didn't want to have friendly fire, so created a damage type for players and for enemies. Yeah, when you do the receive any damage, you got to make sure that you cast the damage object to the type of damage that you want. That was one of the gotchas. You can't just set it to equals equals. I also spent a lot of time just redoing the event hit for the enemies. It's a giant pile of spaghetti code, as you can see. So I reduced a lot of the functions, a lot of the pieces down into their own separate functions. So there's like a hit player function, there's like a take damage function, a lot of different pieces that were just spaghetti code in the beginning, and that also helped clean up some of the other codes. So I was able to create like a set points or give points to the player, making an event for them. That way I can add other places where maybe you can increase points and just make it event-based rather than have it like hard-coded into the enemies. I think at this point the enemies didn't even have like a point value, so that helped clean it up. So I think it turned out a lot nicer. So there's take damage, there's giving points, things like that. So it turned out well. So that's the update for this week. I hope you enjoyed the update, and please like and subscribe, and look for this someday being on Steam. Currently we don't have anything like that, but you can also follow us on Twitter to post some GIFs and things like that. So obviously some of this game footage going if you want to check out some more.